Another hiring season is here. So if you have been applying to jobs and getting ghosted, or maybe just maybe you have been feeling stuck in your career, then this video is for you because today is your lucky day. I am sharing 7 hacks to upgrade your job search and that can also actually help you land a role in this hiring season. For everyone that knows, hiring seasons are usually at the beginning of the year and towards the end of the year, sometimes mid-year as well. So we are in that season. That's why I feel this video would be really helpful to 1 or 2 people out there. So if you are here to learn more about this, stay tuned, grab your coffee, grab your notepads, water, whatever it is that will help you feel comfortable, and let's dive straight into it. So I am going to be using my laptop because I did put down a lot of talking points so I don't forget. So first of all, you need to understand one thing, right? Companies usually, I mean, I've mentioned it before, companies usually hire at the beginning or end of the year and sometimes mid-year. So like for most people that miss the hiring phase that usually happens during mid-year, they always prep for end of year. So end of year slash early the new year, companies are always hiring, they are always expanding. So you are sitting in a pool of open job markets with lots of people with better skill sets than you have, lots of people that are more experienced, lots of people that probably got laid off, lots of people that are also gunning for that same role as you. So what are you going to be doing differently that will help you even get recognized or even get past that first stage of application? There's one thing to apply for jobs and you get a call back for even a first or a second or a third or a fourth or fifth or sixth interview, and then it's another thing for you to not even get a response at all. So at that point you don't know if what you're doing is right or wrong. You don't, like, they haven't called you back, they haven't even responded to your email. So that's what we'll be tackling in this video, and I hope that by the time you apply a few of these things that I'm going to share, it's going to help you in your job search. So the first point I have here for you is to refresh your digital presence. Your portfolio, when you go to someone's LinkedIn, for instance, and you just have a bunch of things there. Let me give a typical scenario. You walk into a store and, or let's say you walk into a boutique and they sell clothes, they sell shoes, they sell all kinds of fashion items. It's on display, so you've seen what you like and would want to buy, right? You see that they have these clothes, they have this shoe, they have this size. It's like a visual representation of what they have in that store, and that helps you make a decision. Look at your LinkedIn profile like that. Now, another case scenario is someone selling. Your Instagram, your business Instagram account should be like a physical walk-in store. If you're selling clothes or you're selling hair or shoe or lashes or whatever, I should be able to go to your Instagram page and I see your products, like, let it feel like I am shopping, visually. It's the same thing as your career, it's the same thing as your professional page. So your LinkedIn profile, which is mostly used for professionals, should be like your store, should be like a walk-in store where someone walks in to see the things that you're doing. So instead of just, first off, update your LinkedIn bio to what you're looking for. So let's say you are a community manager that is transitioning to DevRel. You can do something like you can say something like community manager, building this, that, and looking for opportunities, or just put in something that shows that this is where you're currently at, this is what you're looking for. It drags attention. So look at your LinkedIn account as your portfolio. It's not a CV where you just dump a bunch of things. It should show proof of your work. If someone goes to your LinkedIn profile, you should be able to see, as a community manager, go through the experience section and see a bunch of things that you've done. you don't just blindly update your experience section or put it as a to-do list. I offer services where I help people rewrite their resumes, or I can also walk you through it. So you may want to click the link in my description to book a service or to book a slot. Alright, so back to what we're saying. You don't just put out a to-do list or say things that you did in a company. It has to come with impact. You have to also tie it down to online evidence. And then if someone reads your bio, if someone reads things where you have contributed, your volunteer roles, they should be able to see tangible work there and not just a bunch of things that you listed. Also, don't forget to add a professional photo and then include keywords that recruiters are searching for. So, when you want to apply for a job and you maybe go to LinkedIn or Twitter and type hiring a community manager or we are hiring a community manager, you want to make sure that you have such keywords in your profile. So you're a community manager. Some people try to be very stylish, community specialist, community builder, community this, community that. I get it, community managers are builders, but you may want to, maybe in your about or in the headline, you may want to include keywords that recruiters will most likely search for. You can easily ask ChatGPT to do that for you. Give a simple case scenario. Hi, I am a recruiter and I would like to hire for a number of roles, including community management, product management, digital marketing. Suggest posts that I could make, or suggest ways to access on LinkedIn. You're going to pick out some words, you're going to see some patterns of how it's asking, and make sure you have those kinds of things in your profile. The next thing is your resume. I've mentioned in the first point that I do offer resume services, so just in case you need help with your resume, I'm here to help you, don't worry. But the next thing is your resume. Your resume should have impact, not just putting out a bunch of keywords, not just putting out a bunch of things that you did. It should have impact, it should have metrics, it should have numbers. And then don't just also put numbers blindly. These should be things that you actually did. These should be things that you can actually defend if you're asked. Right. So I'm not going to say more on that because I actually do offer that as a service, but make sure that before you apply for any role, your resume has been published. And then make sure that as you're polishing your resume rather, it is optimized to pass the ATS application tracking system. So these are softwares where recruiters use or companies use to recruit employees. So like there are certain parameters that have been set, things like description, things like skills that is needed, and so many other things. So what they do is they just input certain keywords, things they need, they just customize the fields, right? And the way these softwares work is that you, on the other hand, being the employee, if you apply and it goes through one of such platforms, now two things are going to happen. If your resume is optimized to pass through ATS, it's going to get to the next stage. So an actual recruiter, a human recruiter, will be able to go through your resume and give you feedback. We want to have a first chat with you, or we're not able to proceed with you. But in a situation where it doesn't even get past that stage, that's automatic rejection. So you don't even know if you stood a chance or not. Most people that I see apply for jobs are usually even more than qualified for the roles that they apply for, but they usually don't get callbacks for interview because their resumes are not ATS friendly. In other words, your formatting and the way that you've written your resume doesn't exactly allow these softwares to pick out the important information that they're supposed to pick out. So my advice to you, optimize your resume, make sure it is ATS friendly, and also make sure your resume is not a bunch of tags for things that you did. It should have actual impact. So the next point that I have here is networking. Networking intentionally would help you a lot. And there's so many ways to network. I mean, you might say, oh, I am shy, I am an introvert, I am this, I am that. See, let me tell you, I am an introvert, believe it or not. The only thing I can do is bring out a camera and start filming a video because I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at my camera, like there's nobody here, right? Even though I know that at some point this video is going to reach hundreds and thousands and even millions of people, right? But I have conquered that first step by actually filming a video, right? So network intentionally. Don't say you are shy or you're timid. You know, for me, what works for me is I reach out to people online. If you see me physically, let's say at an event, you rarely see me walk up to someone to try to meet them or try to say, oh hi, I follow you on social media, this, that. I rarely do that. Like, no matter how bad I want to go speak to that person, you know, it just gets very difficult. So how I was able to handle that for myself was to strategically reach out to people online. I am a community and marketing manager, and I am gradually transitioning to DevRel full time. So I always look out for people that are in the DevRel space, you know, people that have been there before, and I just reach out to them, look through their bio, try to see places that they've worked, and then reach out to them. Oh hi, I saw your work, this, that, I'd like to have a coffee chat with you. You know, just look for something that interests you and kickstart a conversation. That's how it works for me, and it might work for you too. So don't just blindly speak to anybody and everybody. Sometimes after events, I do see lots of people flock around speakers. I mean, I get it, I'm happy for all of you, but you know, sometimes you walk close to where these conversations are happening and you discover that there are some people that have no business speaking to that person, right? Because whatever they're saying is not helping you, right? It's not helping your career. So if you must speak to someone, even after events, during events, or whatever, wherever you meet people, be very strategic and intentional about it. You're a product designer, you should speak to people that are in your niche, senior product designers, director of designs, head of design, you know, team leads. You should speak to product managers, you should speak to people that you directly or indirectly collaborate with. These are the people that will help you, right? So that's what I mean by networking intentionally. And then another thing that I do when networking is to pitch myself. If I see that this person is working at a company that is hiring, I can pitch myself. Oh, I'm looking for this role, and I just saw your company is hiring. Would you mind putting in a word for me, or would you mind just telling me more about the company? And then there is that. There's also the option of you, you know, during your coffee chat, say something like, oh, I'm actively searching for a job, just in case you come across any jobs. Or you can reach out to someone to help review your resume and use the opportunity to tell them you're job hunting. Like, it really doesn't hurt for you to be outspoken. They say a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Your destiny will not be closed, but make sure you always open your mouth and ask. Make sure you always open your mouth and talk. Another thing I have here is leveraging on AI. I cannot underestimate, in fact, I can't even count the number of times that AI has helped me in my job search and in my career in general. First of all, it helps me in my career, and then it also helps me in my job search. Now, you might ask, Bella, how does AI help you in your job search? I know there are platforms that help, you know, you can upload your resume, and it just gives you feedback on your resume and what should be improved. There are also other platforms that you upload your resume, set up stuff, and then it just matches you with jobs that you can apply to. And there's also some other platforms that you upload your resume, everything about you, and then it automatically starts applying for jobs for you. I think all those ones are obviously paid. But how I use AI for my job search for myself is for preparation of interviews. So let me start with one: resume. I want to apply for a particular job, and I see that there are certain skills that I have that this job requires that I did not include in my resume. I can upload my resume to ChatGPT, for instance, or any AI model, but I preferably use ChatGPT or Gemini. Just upload it and say, oh, you can even post the job description into that, upload your resume and say something like, using this job description, update my skills section, or update it. suggest new things for you, and you update your resume and you're good to go. Secondly, still within your resume, you might want to copy out the things that you've done, paste it, and ask it to, reframe it, paraphrase it, and make it impact driven. And it will do that for you. The next thing is preparing for jobs, job interviews. Now, what I typically do, I do have two things. The first one is my job pitch. My job pitch encompasses of everything: how I got started, where I'm currently at, what my journey has been up until that point. That's what I do for my job pitch. So like, I have two things that I feed into AI before I ask it to do any other thing for me. One is my job pitch that has a whole history of where I started, the things I've worked on, the projects I've worked on, the companies I've done, how I did this, how I did that, up until that very moment. And then there's also my resume. So when I have these two things ready, I upload it to ChatGPT, and then I copy the job description of that job and paste it. Now, two things gonna happen. It might rewrite the resume for me. It might rewrite or write a cover letter for me. So based off of that information, it's gonna write a cover letter. Now, you can further prompt it, because don't be deceived. Yes, AI helps you work smarter, but then it also hallucinates. So you don't want to hallucinate, right? You don't want AI to hallucinate wrong answers for you. So you can say something like, using this, write an impactful cover letter for me based on my background or based on my experience, and to do that for you. And then you can also copy the job, the description, everything, and ask it to come up with sample interview questions for you that you can use to practice. You might read up on the company, or the company might tell you, we're going to have 5 stages of interview. This first interview stage is going to be about this. And then you can copy that, feed it to AI in that same chat that you have uploaded every other thing, and say something like, I just made it to the first stage of this interview for this job, and this is what they want to do. They want to have a first call to get to know me. What kind of questions should I expect, or what kind of things should I do? And it's going to come up with suggestions for you. It's going to come up with questions. And then as you progress, you can keep asking certain questions, for AI to help you come up with potential interview questions that you could use. And then you can even go as far as asking it to ask you those questions one after the other, and allow you create responses for them. So when you create responses for those questions, it gives you feedback on the spot. There's so many things you can do with AI. Trust me, I have used it, and that's why I can confidently say that you can use AI to prepare for your interviews and you will do just fine. Okay, so we have the next thing, which is research. So when you apply for jobs, and you just, sometimes I do it a lot, so it's not just me, you apply for jobs and you just apply and click send, and that's it. It has cost me more than it should have, because I did not learn how to research. Now, it might feel like a long time, but I feel like a long thing, a long process. But trust me, researching before applying for jobs is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. First of all, you don't have to apply blindly. These are things that you can do. Research on the company's culture, research on the company's leadership, research on the company's values, mission statements, vision statements. Go on platforms like Glassdoor, look at the reviews of this company. What are people saying about this company? What's the work environment like? These are things that also help you come up with questions. And then updates, check their LinkedIn updates. Check if they have any recent press release, Twitter, anything that you can find. That was a plane fly. Anything that you can find on them on social media, read through it. Who is in their board? Who is in their leadership team? If you're applying to work in the marketing team, let's say you're a social media manager, who is already there as a digital marketer or social media manager, or who will be managing? Do lots of research. Try to understand the kind of environment that you're walking into. That unemployment, lack of money has done a lot of things to people, such that when they apply for jobs, they just apply. You're not thinking about the long-term effects. You're not thinking about if this is a place that you personally like to work at. Right, so at the end of the day, let's say you have the job and you discover that it's a very toxic place, you need to know where you are going to. Yes, I know that you need the money, you want to pay bills and all of that, but at what expense? So do your research. Number 6 on my list, build your personal brand. Building your personal brand, look at your personal brand as a digital currency that you exchange. You're talking about your journey, you're talking about the things you're learning, you're talking about the challenges, you're talking about the things you're building, you're talking about the people you're meeting, the things you're reading. Like, building your personal brand is like letting people know what you are, who you are, and what you offer in that space. And just before you start saying, oh, Bella, I can't build my personal brand without talking about personal stuff, no, you can actually do it. People on social media only take what you feed to them. So if you decide to build your personal brand within your career, that is 100% possible for you to do that. Just create your content cadence. What do you want to be talking about? What kind of content do you want to create? What kind of things do you want to talk about on social media? How do you want people to know you? When someone hears your name, what should come to mind? These are things that, put together becomes your personal brand. I didn't want to stay too long on that. And then finally, there's follow up. Do not underestimate the power of follow up. See, when you apply for a job, and except you're not hungry, except you're not looking for that job actively, but when you apply for jobs and you don't get feedback, you are well within your rights to follow up to figure out what happened. Even when you have gone through, let's say, a first stage interview or a second stage interview, and they say, oh, we're not able to continue with you, you are still well within your right to ask for feedback, right? Don't just sit down blindly. See, let me give you a typical scenario. One of the companies that I worked for previously, I almost did not get that job because I did not follow up. I had finished the interview for like a week plus, almost 2 weeks, and then my friend kept pushing me, Bella, reach out. I finally reluctantly sent that email, and then I got to realize that the salary range I gave to them was higher than their budget. And now you may ask, so why didn't they just tell you? I don't know. Because within them, they're like, oh, we can actually cut costs if we hire someone more junior and train the person, rather than hiring this person who is experienced and is requesting for this amount of money. I went into negotiation mode because, like, if I did not reach out, first off, I wouldn't have known that. I in my mind, I thought that I didn't pass the interview, right? But apparently, I had passed the interview. They didn't have a problem with me. The only problem they had was the range, and they did not also come back to say, oh, we cannot afford this. This is what we can afford. So, being able to follow up helped me understand that, it's not like you're not good enough. They just don't have that much to pay you. So I went into negotiation mode, and at the end of the day, we worked on something that worked for the both parties, and I worked for them for a couple of months. So you see, negotiation, follow up, all these things are very important. See, shine your eyes. At the beginning of this video, I said something like, there are lots of those that have been laid off, those that are just starting, those that are currently in their jobs that they are not happy and they want to leave. See, there's so many people that are competing for the same role as you're applying for, so you have to shine your eyes. So I guess I am done. I had to make sure I put together that so I don't forget any single thing. I feel like this is the first video I am filming and making from the depths of my heart. You can see how I'm speaking with passion, because this is something that I have personally tried, implemented and tested, and it has worked for me. It has worked for my friends. So I do hope that this video was helpful and that you learned a thing or two. Let me know in the comments if you have any other video ideas that you'd like to learn, or any other thing you'd like to learn, or if there's anything new that you learned in this video. And until I see you in my next one, bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share, comment, share with your friends, and let me know how you feel generally. Bye.